Alright,
yeah, I don't know how you can do this. Alright, I just want to make sure we're talking loud enough.
Yeah. Hi, Jessica.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So, my name's Abby, and I'm here to talk to you. So, what brings you here today?
I've just been really stressed lately. I just am stressed all the time. I'm very anxious because of the stress. So, just wanted to come and see if there was anything I could do.
Okay, so you're feeling anxious.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think is bringing that about? Why do you think that's?
I think it's really school. School has been really stressful. It's very, tedious and hard, and it's just a lot of work, and I don't know how to manage it all.
Okay, so you're feeling overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Very.
Okay, that's
Very.
understandable.
Yeah.
Okay, so what specifically is bringing on this stress? What about school? Is it the assignments, or is it class schedule?
I really actually think it's a combination between school and work and, trying to find the balance and then still have, keep in touch with, my friends and family, and I just feel like I'm just being drowned by the schoolwork. It's just not so much the classes themselves, but all the work that the classes are putting on me, like papers and tests and midterms. It's just very, very stressful.
Okay. Do you feel like you've fallen behind in school, or are you on top of things? I just want to get a gauge of where you're kind of.
I don't think I've fallen behind, but it takes everything out of me to make sure I don't fall behind. Like, school doesn't come very easily to me.
Okay.
I have to work extra hard, so I stay on top of things, but it's hard.
And has that carried out into other areas of your life? Like, have you stopped, doing things that you once used to do? Like, what do you do for fun? Give me an example of something you do for
I
fun.
like to go hiking when it's nice out, and I like to play softball, and I still want to do those things, but I just feel like I have no time to. It's not a priority over school and work. So between those two, because it's so much, I don't have time to do it. It's not like I don't want to or I've lost interest, but there's physically no time in my day or my week or my month to even enjoy my free time to myself.
Okay, so a few things I have questions about in that statement. Do you find yourself doing work in the time that you would be playing softball or hiking or doing any of the things that you do love to do?
Yeah, I find myself, on nice days, not going out and doing what I want to do because I'm stuck inside making sure my assignments are prepared and, ready for when I have to hand them in.
And have you been able to do any of that at all? Have you been able to play softball at all? Have you been able to hike at all?
In previous semesters I have, but not this semester. It's just been too much.
Okay, so that's important to know. So why do you think this semester is different from other semesters in that you haven't been able to do the things that you love to do?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. Maybe just, it's my last semester for undergrad, so I just think I want to make sure I have everything done and right and prepared so I am able to graduate. The other semesters were kind of, not like I didn't try because I did well, but it wasn't as much pressure on me, I felt like. So I think that's why, but it's just been causing so much stress and so much, bad and anxiety towards me. So I just don't know how to handle it all. I don't know how to manage it.
Okay. How about home? Does that add stress to you? Do you live with roommates? Do you live with your family? Are you able to concentrate when you're home?
Well, I live with my family still, and I'm able to concentrate. Everyone else in the house is busy doing their own things, so I'm not overwhelmed by things at my home, but I find myself isolating myself from the rest of my family because I'm always stuck in my room doing work rather than spending time with them, and it'll be dinner time and I'm in my room instead of hanging out with my family, and that causes stress on me too, because I want to be able to, spend time with them, and I feel like I physically can't get away from the work. So it does, my home does affect me, a little bit.
So what I'm hearing is that it does add a little bit of stress to you.
Yes.
When you cannot have dinner and hang out with your family.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm neglecting them almost, because I'm isolating myself in my room doing schoolwork rather than spending quality time. So that causes stress on me too.
Okay. So we are, you're on a normal semester, right? So we are halfway through this semester.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think would help you as far as getting your work done and being able to balance things? Because when you know yourself best more than anyone else, and so the things that make you happy and the things that alleviate stress will make you better able to approach things. So what is that for you?
I'm not too sure. I mean, I think realistically what would make me feel better is if I did find even like a half hour out of my day to do something that I enjoy. I feel like that would just decrease my stress, for even if it's a half an hour a day, it's decreasing, by a little bit. So maybe if I just like found some time in the day to just do something for myself, but I just don't know what that would be, but just to take some time away and just do something for myself rather than for school and for, work and stuff like that. I just don't know exactly what I should do.
Right, and how often are you working outside of school? So you have your schoolwork, and if I understand correctly, you have a job as well.
Yes, yeah. I work on the weekends, so I work Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, and then I have school all week. So I just am constantly doing something. So it's just it's stressful. Maybe I should just take off a day of work or something and just see if I can just spend the day doing what I want to do.
Okay. And you've been feeling this way since the beginning of the semester, so that's almost 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been very, very, hard to deal with.
Do you feel like tired when you're done with school? What time, let's say on a typical day in Jessica's life, what time do you finish? What time do you power down to go to bed? What time are you done with your work so that you can be freed up to do whatever it is you want to do?
Most of the time it's, 11 at night. Sometimes it's midnight, most of the time, but then I do have the days where, I'm up doing all-nighters and I don't get any sleep, which, obviously doesn't help. No. So, I try to time manage as best as I can so I can still get the proper amount of sleep, but sometimes it's just not, feasible.
Mm-hmm.
But usually around 11 o'clock to midnight is when I power down for the day.
Okay, so to clarify, you're doing school basically from the time you wake up until 11 o'clock at night.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Long days.
Those are very long days. With that in mind, that in and of itself can cause stress.
Yeah.
Outside of the family stuff. So what have your tactics been up until now? How have you been approaching it?
I've been really just trying to, like I said, I've been trying to do, proper time management and have everything planned out for the week and when I'm going to do work so I can go to bed at a certain time, or, if I have 2 tests on the same day, I'll try to span it out, the studying properly. But I think I'm almost overdoing it to where that's stressing me out, trying to find, the perfect set schedule when there really isn't a right answer to it. So, I don't really know.
Okay. As far as scheduling is concerned, just the act of scheduling, regardless of work, Is that in and of itself stressful to you?
Yes.
So the act of scheduling, because I think what I understood from what you're saying is that the act of scheduling is becoming stressful for you. And do you think that's because you see a task list, or is it because you see that so many hours need to be devoted to school?
I feel like it's more of like a task list because I do have a lot of things to do and I want to make sure I'm able to do them all. But the idea of even making a schedule for all those things, I know adds on to my stress, but I just can't help but plan so, harshly anyway. I still feel the need to plan, yes.
Are you a planner by nature?
Yes,
okay.
I always have been,
okay.
but it's never really been an issue. I haven't noticed until recently, really just this semester. I always like things to be, set schedule, and I know I'm going to be doing this at this time, so I'll have time to do this, but I feel like I'm so used to planning, and now it's just kind of unrealistic to be planning so strategically just for what I have in front of me now. It just doesn't seem right, but I can't help but stick to what I know.
Right. So it sounds to me like you're saying you're not leaving yourself any wiggle room in the schedule.
No.
So when something doesn't go according to plan, does your whole schedule get thrown off?
Yes, and that, and my schedule's thrown off, and I am still working on one assignment when I feel like I should have been working on another one. It just, causes a lot of stress and anxiety, and am I going to finish this on time, and when am I going to do this, because, I'm exhausted and want to go to bed. It's just very overwhelming.
Okay, and you mentioned bed and exhausted. So, I'm wondering, when I hear how stressed you are and how kind of it takes you sometimes longer to finish things than you expect, how are you sleeping at night? Do you wake up really tired in the morning? Are you able to fall asleep?
I never really have had a problem falling asleep, but it's kind of staying asleep. There's a lot of, tossing and turning, and it's, it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like my mind is still running in my sleep almost, as silly as that sounds.
Oh, doesn't sound silly. You have kind of racing thoughts at night, like when you try to hit your pillow, everything's quiet, and you have racing thoughts?
Yeah, even though I have no problem falling asleep, I can fall asleep within 5 to 10 minutes, but I'll be up in an hour, you know what I mean? So it kind of doesn't even really help me out that I fall asleep early because I can't stay asleep.
Okay.
So even though I'm super tired and, things like that, I can't seem to get the rest that I need even when I try.
Okay, so when you do wake up, let's say you fall asleep, you slept for an hour. When you do wake up, what do you do?
When I first wake up, I press snooze as many times as possible.
Oh, not in the morning. I mean, like after you fall asleep, like the first time you wake up in the middle of the night.
Okay. I usually just, lay there and toss and turn and just try to fall back asleep until, or maybe, count down in my head from 100 or, all those little things and tricks. Yeah, but they don't always, help me. So, I'll try to take some deep breaths and things like that. Maybe I'll get up for 10 minutes and, walk around and then try to lay back down. And sometimes it works and then sometimes it doesn't help me at all.
Okay.
So.
In those times that it doesn't help you, do you find that you have a lot of thoughts, or do you have a to-do list going through your head, or are you just telling yourself that, you're so anxious? What is going through your head when you can't fall back asleep?
Probably just all the things that I have to do the next day. Just thinking about, how my schedule's going to be in the morning, what I have to do and what time I should be waking up to get all these things done. And, almost like racing thoughts.
Racing thoughts.
Yeah, just all the things that I have on my plate in the morning. So, it's usually what I'm thinking about.
Okay, have you ever tried writing down all of these tasks that you think of in the middle of the night?
No, I really haven't. I just let them go through my head over and over again, but I probably should just write these things down, because then once they're down, I kind of have accomplished the fact that I need to do it, and I can push it over to the side. But when I am thinking about it over and over again when I'm, trying to go to bed, I think of it repeatedly rather than, but I feel like you're right, if I were just to write it down, I kind of just leave it at that. I write it down, I have to do that tomorrow, I kind of just close the book and hopefully I'm able to go back to sleep.
It can help some people. I mean, if you've never tried it,
Yeah,
it's certainly something worth trying.
Yeah.
But another thing is that being so tired because you're not sleeping adds to your stress.
Yeah, I figured.
So, you came here today, and I'm so glad you did, and, I think that you're going to be, it's going to be good for you, but what do you want to get out of this situation, out of coming here to therapy? What would you like to get out of it? What are your goals?
I think my goals, because realistically, I'm still going to have to work, and I'm still going to have to go to school. That's something that is what it is, but I'm just hoping that maybe you can help me manage it, or, come up with ideas on how to relieve my stress and maybe manage my time better or things like that, because, like I said, I have to go to school and I have to do, have a job and make money, but I'm hoping, that you can help me manage it so I'm not as stressed, help me, feel better.
Okay, so with that goal in mind, I think something, I need to know from you is, what does a typical Tuesday in Jessica's life look like?
A Tuesday, I have to get up early, and I have
What's early?
I know, I need to be more specific. Around like 7:30.
Okay.
And then I have to, get ready for the day, make sure I have my books and everything like that. And then I have class at noon, and then I have class at 3:30, and then I drive an hour, so when the class at 3:30 is over at 6:30, I don't get home until 7:30, and then I usually spend the rest of the day doing some work for the rest of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you have that kind of a Tuesday, what do you do at night to kind of shut down? Or do you do anything?
I was just about to say, I don't, sorry, I don't usually do anything in particular, but I'll do my schoolwork until whenever I feel like I'm done for the day, and just, brush my teeth, take a shower, and then I try to go to bed. There's nothing I actually do to, kind of conclude the day and unwind besides that.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that taking a shower relaxes you a little bit?
Maybe a little bit, but it doesn't have, a long-lasting, relaxing effect into, the night. Just take a shower and mindlessly, just to
Right.
take a shower.
Okay, and are all of your days structured so kind of jam-packed?
Most of them, and I feel like it doesn't have to be like that. Certain days are just going to be busier than others, but I feel like all my days are just always something from the time I wake up to when I go to bed, and I just want to hopefully be able to change that a little bit. Because I don't think it needs to be like that every day.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need to find some time to do things that I want to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you wake up at 7:30 every morning?
No, not every morning. Sometimes it's like an hour earlier, and then on Thursdays I get to sleep in, if that's what you want to call it, until about 9, which is, compared to 7:30, it's nice. If I get to, actually stay asleep that long, which sometimes I do, not all the time, but sometimes.
So it sounds that, your sleep quality is something that does affect you.
Yeah, because I don't toss and turn, every single night, but the nights that I do, it affects me for the rest of the day because I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And when we're tired, nobody, not anyone in the world, is as effective and as efficient. We can't concentrate as well. Our moods suffer, even our appetite suffers.
Yeah.
So how often does this sleepless, kind of tossing and turning night happen?
Probably like 4 or 5 times during the week. Probably like 4 times during the week.
4 times a week.
Yeah.
That's a big number.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is going to be a little bit of a tough question, but on the days after you haven't slept at night, on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed out and anxious do you think you feel?
It's probably like an 8. I'm more, probably an 8 on a day where I don't get enough sleep, and then the days where I do get enough sleep, I feel like my stress level is down because I'm able to handle it better because I have had a good night's sleep, and I can, conquer things because I, am well rested.
So again, on a scale of 1 to 10, on a day where you have slept, let's say a full 7 or 8 hours, where is your stress then?
Probably, way lower, probably around like, maybe just like a 5, depending on the day. Sometimes, some days are more stressful than others just in general, but
Okay, but a 5
significantly lower.
But a 5 is still pretty, it's pretty significant. That's a, that's a lot of stress.
Yeah,
Okay, so even on the days where you have slept well, you do feel a difference,
definitely.
but it's not enough to make you feel less, like it's not enough to make you feel not stressed. You're still significantly stressed.
Yeah, I'm still stressed. It's definitely less, but the stress is still there.
Okay. And do you find that you're carrying the stress anywhere? Like, do you feel physically? Do you get any pains, any tense muscles, anything like that that comes from stress that you notice in your body?
Yeah, some days I feel, a little like achy. I don't know if that's from the stress, but maybe. And then some days I don't realize it at the time, but towards the end of the day I realize that I don't eat almost all day because I'm preoccupied with a million other things. So
Sure.
it's hard for me to find time to eat, which I know is not good at all.
Right, and that can also make us more anxious for some people. Not everybody,
Yeah.
but some people.
Yeah.
Okay. Historically, throughout your life, what are activities that reduce your stress? I know that you said you like softball and you like hiking.
Yeah.
And those, of course, between being active and being outside, they're going to help with stress. But let's say it's not nice out.
Mhm.
What would make Jessica relax?
I used to, for a while, when I had more time, do yoga, which I really, really enjoyed. It was, good exercise, but it also made me feel nice and relaxed and zen. And, they worked on breathing exercises and stretches to, relieve your neck and your back. So I really, really, really enjoyed yoga when I was doing it, but it's just, in my head it's not possible to do, even though it would really, really, really relieve some of my stress, my schoolwork and stuff.
I have a tough question. Okay. Do you think that you would be better able to, or more efficient in doing your work? Because earlier in our session, you mentioned that you feel like you're not good at school. School doesn't come naturally to you, right? So, do you think that, or what are the chances that doing something that's not school related would make you better able to handle your school related assignments?
It probably would. I feel like it would, it would make more space in my head to do my school assignments. If I have a clear head, if anybody has a clear head, things are, easier to do because they don't have a mess to think about, or, all these different things. So I feel like if I were to do, yoga and get a clear head and breathing and stuff like that, schoolwork might be less hard for me.
Would it be realistic for you to do one thing a day, even for half an hour? Would it be realistic? Again, you know your life better than I do, so you have to tell me. But would it be realistic for you to take half of an hour to have dinner with your family? Or to have, even on your iPad, put a yoga class on and just do half an hour of yoga, so that you're not so stressed out all the time, because being stressed is exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's, even if it, might interfere in my schedule that I have in my mind, I think it would be worth it in the end, even though, I'll have to add another thing to my schedule. It's a productive thing that will help me out ultimately at the end. So I think it is possible for most days to find some time to do something that'll relieve some of my stress.
Okay. On a scale of 0 to 100%, right? 0% being not at all,
Okay.
100% being works perfectly.
Okay.
How well is your strict scheduling working for you? If we're just talking about kind of Jessica, how well is it working for you?
Well, considering how stressed I am, probably like a 20.
20%.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good.
It's apparently, in my head I think it's going to work well, but because of how stressed I am, it's obviously not working as well as I want it to.
So what I think another really important component of that question is to ask, are your grades really as good as they would be, if you weren't stressed? Have your grades at all suffered, or are you so stressed in prevention of making them not suffer, or to make sure that they don't suffer?
My grades are good, and I'm happy with them, but at the result of my massive amount of stressing out.
Okay.
So they're not suffering, but because my grades aren't suffering, I'm stressed. So
You're suffering.
So if I don't know if you want to say suffering, but yeah, it's making me stressed because I'm so worried about getting straight A's, and maybe if I was, not like I want to get worse grades, but if I were to get, maybe a B with less stress, it would kind of be worth it.
Okay. That's something that only you can understand and
Right.
gauge, right? Because we all have our levels of importance for everything.
Right.
And we certainly don't want your grades to suffer. That's
No,
not something anybody
definitely
wants.
not.
But how possible do you think it would be to do maybe 10% less work and still maintain an A? Would that be possible?
I think so.
Not to spend necessarily less time doing the work, but maybe to make the work more efficient, and to maybe, how much time in this schedule that you set do you spend worrying about the work?
A decent amount. I feel like it's, counterproductive while I'm thinking about all the work that I have to do, and then I spend some of the time worrying about all the work rather than just doing it, and maybe saving that worrying time to go do something productive. So I definitely think that has affected me.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that this worrying is really occupying a lot of your brain space.
Yeah.
It's occupying a lot of your time. Time that could be used to do work. And
Or
it takes
something else,
exactly
yeah.
the time that's being taken away from doing the things that make you you,
Right.
and that build you up to do your work
Yeah.
efficiently and do it well.
Definitely.
So, with that said, what would an ideal day, if you had a bazillion hours in a day, or if, which, something that, you mentioned earlier, if you were good at school, what would a day look like ideally to you? School included, work included, and life included.
Probably waking up in the morning and maybe doing yoga or going for a walk or something, even if it's for, half hour to an hour, just something to start the day for, something that I want to do, and maybe go to school, because like I said, that part is just, it is what it is. Yeah. Go to school, maybe come home and not immediately come home and want to go straight to, do homework or something like that, and, just be able to relax and hang out with my family for a little bit, and still be able to do that and still, get some work done without having all this worry in my head and all this stress and pressure and things like that. So be an ideal day. I would still like to be productive and get some work done, just without the stress and with a little bit of time for myself.
Okay. So, in the rare occasion that you do get to go for a hike or spend time with your family or do yoga, do you find yourself still worried about school?
Not really during the time where I am doing yoga or going for a walk and things like that. So normally it doesn't even cross my mind because I have just time to do whatever I want to do, and rather than worrying in my head, it's kind of clearing my head. So I don't find myself worrying about the things when I find.
So that's great to know.
Yeah.
That when you do something else that's good for Jessica, you don't worry. You don't take your school with you. That you completely shut off from it, and you're able to go and enjoy your time. So how do you think that you could be able to transition? You know, you said earlier that you come home and you feel like you immediately have to go to do work, but that's not what you want. You want to be able to come and relax for a few minutes and then go.
Yeah.
Do you think that doing that would make you better able to do your work more efficiently?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe what I should start doing is, because I know what I need to do now after talking to you. It's just a matter of actually doing it, right? So maybe, either depending on if it's an early day or a late day, late starting day, depending on, because every day's a little different. No matter what, just give myself, 30 minutes. Maybe start off with like 30 minutes to myself, and if that's working out and being beneficial, which I'm sure it will be, then maybe adding some more time, and maybe, today I can actually have an hour to myself because it's been so beneficial to my stress and my schoolwork. So I think that is what my first step is going to be, is to just give myself a half hour and just try to start there just to make myself feel better and less stressed.
Okay. I mean, you can certainly give it a try, and you can report back to me how that's working for you, and we're here to troubleshoot and to talk things through and to understand, because again, I just met you. You're the authority on you, so. Okay.
All right.
Well, see you hopefully.
Yeah, I think I'll be back. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Done.
Oh my God, you did a good job.
I don't know.
You did a good job. I'm so